Namaste, fam. Wherever you're at or whatever time of day it is, I am so grateful that you are joining me here for some yoga, some movement, and some breath. So, these videos are especially made for She members. She is a fitness app, and it is hosted and owned by my good friend, Coach JD. If you are interested in joining She or seeing what She is all about, the link is going to be in the bio. And as always, reach out for me if you have any more questions. So, first things first, if you are choosing to use this video as a guide to move, to do yoga, this means that you are moving at your own risk. Nobody is liable for you other than yourself. I am not liable for you. Any of the companies that I've partnered with are not liable for you. Any of the platforms in which this video is uploaded is not liable for you. So this is your liability waiver. If you are moving, then you are agreeing that you are responsible and liable for your own safe. The good thing with yoga, and especially the style that I teach, is that we are moving slow, mindfully, and gently. There are two major things I want to talk about really quick. Pain is different than discomfort. If you feel any type of pain, gently back out of the pose and wait until it's safe to join again. If you feel discomfort, this is where you really need to use your intuition and decide, is this just an area that I'm uncomfortable in, that I can use my breath to get through this pose? Or again, does it cross that borderline to pain? We want to stay safe in the body. We are all coming at this with different life experiences. Some of us have had surgeries, some of us have had injuries. So just being mindful that we're all coming at this same place from a different position. So just being gentle with yourself, being graceful with yourself, and accepting wherever you're at. I really want to get rid of that stigmatism that yoga is for a specific body type, or you need to look like a certain way to do yoga, you have to be flexible to do yoga. I want to wipe that judgment out alone. So, in order to do that, we can't judge ourselves, we can't judge yoga. Yoga doesn't judge you, so please don't judge yoga and come at this with an open mind. Yoga and practicing yoga eventually reflects into our daily lives. We've probably all have discovered that the great unknown life is full of challenges and often puts us in situations where we're not comfortable. So as we practice yoga and we use our breath and we become a little bit more comfortable being uncomfortable, you'll notice over time how that will automatically show up in your daily life, whether that's sitting in traffic or being at the grocery store, being in an uncomfortable conversation. You'll notice yourself getting that strength and automatically coming to your breath to get through those uncomfortable situations. There's no way that we can avoid whatever life is going to bring to us. We all have different experiences. We'll all continue to experience different things throughout our lives. So if you continue to practice yoga, you'll continue to notice how much stronger, more confident, and more resilient you are to uncomfortable positions or situations that will arise in our lives. So before we get started, before we get moving, make sure that you have a blanket. Doesn't matter how the blanket is. Make sure that you have a pillow or a bolster, just a couple props that you might want to use. It's always good to have it as an option. I'll be offering you variations using props, not using props. So let's go ahead and get started. Start moving, start breathing. So wherever you're at, find yourself in a nice, comfortable seat. Legs can be in any variation. You don't have to match what I'm doing. Just feel what's right in your body. Also, these are going to be non-edited videos, so you get the genuine, raw, authentic Elizabeth. So I hope that this also invites you to show up genuine and authentic as well. All right, so finding yourself in that nice, comfortable seat, feeling safe to close off your eyes, feeling your glutes pressing against the ground wherever you're at. Just extending the crown of your head up towards the sky, sitting up nice and tall, feeling that length throughout your entire spine. Feel your breath come in through the nose. Just following the breath as it leaves through the nose, not changing the style or the duration of your breath, just noticing the breath as it moves in and out of the body. This is the first time that you're thinking about your breath today. It's taking a moment to be grateful for your breath, for returning back to you today, being the beautiful gift that it is. Taking this next opportunity to release any worries, any judgments, plans, or to-do lists. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose, filling up the lungs and the belly with air. Release that breath with an open mouth exhale. Sigh it out. Another deep inhale through the nose, filling up the lungs and the belly with air. Open mouth exhale, let it go. Emptying out all the way. Last inhale, or as many as you need. Deep inhale through the nose. Pausing when you get to the top and sipping in a little bit more air before we finish this last cleansing breath. Release that breath with the open mouth exhale. Sigh it out. Seal your lips. Begin to breathe in and out of the nose. Lengthening and exaggerating the breath a little bit longer than your natural breath. Nice long inhales, making sure that your exhales match the length of your inhales. We're going to keep this style of breath throughout the rest of your class, filtering the breath in and out of the nose, mindfully and slow. It's going to calm the nervous system and direct your energy to run up and down your main energy channel, your main nadi, which runs up and down the spine. Just a few more breaths as you settle into your space. Visualizing your breath coming in through the nose, over the crown of the head, down the spine to your tailbone. As you exhale, sending the breath back out the same way, pulling it from the tailbone back up the spine and out the nose. And setting an intention for your practice, for your day or night. An intention is something to bring your focus towards. It can be a word, a phrase, or a mantra. Just see if anything naturally arises that resonates for you without digging or expecting for something to rise. Just see if anything naturally is coming up for you. And if nothing is coming up, I invite you to use this intention. I belong. Use simple words with a lot of depth. I belong. I belong. Last full round of breath before we start moving. On your next inhale, begin to lift and draw the shoulders up towards the ears, giving a nice good squeeze when they get to the top, giving that intentional pressure on the bottleneck area. As you exhale, roll the shoulders down the front of the chest, gently guiding them towards the bottom, pulling them up your back, opening up the front side of the chest and letting the shoulders pass by your ears once more. 2 more shoulder circles in this direction. Breathing slowly, moving slowly. No rush, finishing up this last shoulder circle. Once those shoulders are up by the ears, give a nice good inhale, sitting up tall, give that intentional squeeze and pressure. As you exhale, roll the shoulders down the back, opening up the front side of the chest, gently guiding them towards the bottom, then pulling them up the front of the chest, opening up the back side of the body. Shoulders pass by the ears. Once more, 2 more shoulder circles in this direction. No rush. Finishing up this last shoulder circle. Once the shoulders are back up towards the ears, giving it a nice good squeeze. Deep inhale here. And as you exhale, relax the shoulders back down in their natural sockets, keeping the chest nice and open. Shoulders are broad, heart is shining through. Relax the shoulders down, elbows are close to the body, sitting up nice and tall once more. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, gently lower the chin down towards the chest, just opening up the back side of the neck, back side of the throat. Continuing to breathe, allow the head to roll along the left side, left ear passes left shoulder. Head rolls along your upper back, opening up the front side of the throat, front side of the chest. Opposite ear passes opposite shoulder. Chin towards the chest. 2 more head circles in this direction. Just moving the head, keeping a nice tall back. Shoulders are relaxed. Accepting any pops or cracks that you might feel in the neck area or here. Just knowing you're getting some stagnant energy out of the way. And continuing to breathe deep as you move. Finishing up this last head circle, no rush. Once the chin is connected towards the chest once more, after that third round, pause for a moment, realign the back sitting up nice and tall, and then take the head circles in the opposite direction. Right ear passes right shoulder, opening up the front side of the neck, opposite ear to opposite shoulder, chin towards the chest, opening up all corners, all angles of the neck, throat, and the spine. No rush. We're on our last head circle. Just finishing that up nice and slow. And once the chin is connected towards the chest, after that third round on the second side, lifting the head back up, sitting up through center. At any point, if the legs feel uncomfortable, you can switch out the cross. No worries, making sure that you feel comfortable-ish as we move. On your next inhale, sweep those arms up overhead, reaching up nice and tall. Pull the belly muscles in as you get that length in the spine. As you exhale, relax the arms, twisting over towards the left-hand side. Left hand comes behind you or to the side of you. As that right hand rests on the top of that leg, gently guiding you into the twist. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. If it's safe in the neck, take your gaze across that left shoulder back behind you. Remember, it's not about how far you can get into the twist or into the pose, just what you feel, where you feel it. Find your breath. Keep the breaths nice and deep. We've got added pressure in the organ area. Use the strength of your lungs to control the breath slowly in and slowly out. Last couple full rounds of breath left. Your next inhale, lengthen up through the torso, sitting up a little bit taller. As you exhale, see if you can get into the twist just a sliver more. Exhaling all the way, emptying out every drop. When you're ready for your inhale, unravel the twist, come back through center, sweeping those arms back up overhead, reaching nice and tall. And as you exhale, twisting over towards the opposite side, right hand comes to the side of you or behind you. As that left hand rests on that leg, gently guiding you into the twist. Same thing goes, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Keep a nice tall spine. If it's safe in the neck, take that gaze back behind you, adding that extra layer of twist in. A few more rounds of breath left. Stay connected to your breath, to the flow. Your next inhale, lengthen up through the torso. See if you're able to sit up a little bit taller. And as you exhale, see if you can get into the twist just a sliver more. On your next inhale, unravel the twist. Sweep the arms up overhead, reaching up nice and tall. And as you exhale, relaxing the arms back down along the side of the body. Very good. Coming into our next pose, extend those legs out nice and long, those feet out nice and long. Take some gentle taps with the backs of the knees. Gently windshield wiper those feet side to side, allowing that rotation to happen all the way up in here into the hips. Now, this is a great place to use your props if you'd like. And before we move further, just another little disclosure, just something to help you be more comfortable in the poses. I'm going to turn to the side really quick. If you find that as we're sitting down, if your back is pulling and it's hard for you to get that belly forward and stack those shoulders on top of the hips, if you find that that lower back or that mid back is pulling back, that is okay. That is actually more normal than you may think or know. It's an indication to get those hips higher than those knees. You can bring a blanket or a pillow underneath and just placing them on top, placing it underneath those hips, getting the hips on top of the knees, just a little bit higher is going to help the knees, help the legs, help the back. So being the judge, and as always, if you try something out and it doesn't seem as comfortable as it did before, this is your practice. Make any adjustments that you need to. So for this next pose, we're coming into caterpillar pose. I am going to put a bolster underneath my knees just because I just want to help bridge the gap a little bit and help myself get into the pose a little bit more. But be the judge. Once again, try it out. If it doesn't feel good, try something different, try something new. We're sitting up nice and tall here. Legs are out right in front of you, whether you have the pillow underneath the knees or not. Sitting up nice and tall. Just hinging at the hips, keeping a nice flat back. Pull with your belly nice and forward. Move until you can't move anymore. Now, maybe you feel that targeted stretch already. You can gently lean into the pose a little bit more, reaching for the legs. Or if you'd like to go a little bit further, begin to round the spine by drawing your heart forward and then down, readjusting the grips of your hands, maybe on the calves, maybe the ankles. We're keeping the lower back extended, nice and flat. If you find yourself curving down like this, you've gone a little bit too far. Sit back up and begin to make your way over. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. Gaze is going to be right in between the knees or right in between the calves, keeping that nice neutral spine, nice soft curve in the upper back. Find your breath. Feel that pressure against the torso. Keep the breaths deep, slow, and controlled. Make your way down until you find your edge, your landing place, that fine line between being comfortable and being uncomfortable. Feel your body speak back to you. Maybe you feel this in the back of your legs. Maybe you feel it in the glutes, the hips, maybe even the lower back. Just noticing what you feel. No judgments. Coming back to your breath, sending every inhale to those uncomfortable places, softening as you exhale. Control the inhales, control the exhales, nice and slow. We've got a few more rounds left. I'll leave you in silence, letting you practice staying connected to your breath. Last full round, nice deep inhale. Reach your heart forward a little bit more if you can. And as you exhale, see if you can come into the fold just a sliver more. Empty your exhale all the way. As your inhale returns, begin to walk the hands up the legs, avoiding direct pressure on the knees until you're sitting up nice and tall once more. Very good. Slide your props out of the way if you use them. Relax those knees down. Take the gentle taps with the backs of the knees. Windshield wiper those feet side to side. Very good. Making your way into your butterfly pose or Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of your feet together. Knees are going to come out nice and wide. If this is too uncomfortable for the knees to open up like this, you can always bring your pillows and blankets, stacking them underneath the knees, just giving them a place to bridge the gap so it's not too much pressure opening them up. Once again, seeing what's right for you. We're going to make our way into this pose just like we did caterpillar pose by leading with the belly first, keeping that nice flat back, almost as if you're trying to pull the belly towards the feet. Same thing goes. You can stay here leaning into what you feel, or begin to round the spine, drawing the heart forward and then down, readjusting the grips of your hands if that feels right. Hands can be resting on the shins, ankles, gently on the tops of the feet. In this style, you can also rest the arms right underneath you, just letting gravity take over, pulling the chest down as you relax through the shoulders. Closing off the eyes, finding your breath once more. Send every inhale to those tender, tight places. Soften as you exhale deeply and fully. Staying connected to your breath as you let the thoughts slip away. Remember your intention. I belong. Last few full rounds. No rush, knowing you won't be here for that much longer. Using your breath to get through the pose, not your thoughts, not your mind. Nice, deep, full inhale. See where your breath is going. Exhale, fully empty out all the way. In your next inhale, begin to walk the hands in close to the body, supporting the torso as you lift up and rise nice and tall. Very good. Place your hands on the outer edges of your knees. Gently guide them in towards each other as you step your feet out a little bit wider than hips with distance. Shift the weight back into your hands, back behind you. And then gently take some windshield wipers, letting those knees drift off towards the left-hand side, letting that right hip lift up. You've got rotation in the hips and the knees. Be mindful, move slow. Knees back through center. Let the knees drift back off towards the opposite side. Letting that left hip lift up. Take as many rounds of this windshield wiper as you need. I'm going to guide you through one more round. Knees back off towards the left-hand side. And bringing them back through center, letting them drift off towards the right hand side, finishing this up. Good. Bringing those knees back through center. Shift the weight back up into your seat. And we're going to make our way into tabletop position. You can swing the legs back behind you, lifting yourself up onto your hands and your knees. If the knees are too uncomfortable, you can always bring your blanket, making sure all the lumps are out of the blanket, pulling them underneath the knees, and making sure that your shoulders are stacked right over the wrist, that your hips are stacked right over the knees. Fingers are spread out nice and wide. Peace fingers are pointing towards the front of the room. As you inhale, pull the chest forward as your tailbone lifts. Gaze comes forward. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the spine, press the earth away as you take your gaze underneath you to your belly button. Good. As you inhale, make your way back into your cow pose. Tailbone is lifting, chest is rising, gaze comes forward, Vidalasana. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the spine, coming into your cat pose, Marjariasana. Last round as you inhale, come into your cow pose. Opening up the front side of the spine. And as you exhale, make your way into your cat pose, opening up the back side of the spine. Good. Coming into a nice neutral spine. Step your hands out away from you, a good hand's length distance apart. As you inhale, pull your knee in towards your chest. Shift the weight up into your hands and gently lower that right knee back behind that right wrist. Swing that right foot as close to that left wrist as you can before extending that left leg back behind you, making your way into your pigeon pose. Untuck those toes. You can stay up here on the palms of your hands, or begin to lower down to your capacity. Wherever you're going, reach the heart forward and then down. We want to keep any of these hunches and rounds out of the back. You can always bring your pillow underneath you, resting the forearms. Relax the shoulders the best that you can, making your way down to your capacity. Remember, feel safe to come into a pose. Make any adjustments if you need to, coming into a variation that feels more comfortable for you. Come back to your breath. Every inhale, send it to those tender, tight places. Every exhale, soften, release, and let go. Deep inhales, deep exhales. You'll be here for a few moments. I'll let you know when it's time to move on. Relax and soften through the hip and groin region. Your next inhale, begin to lift and rise, making your way back up onto the palms of your hands. Move any props out of the way. Hands are nice and close to the body, helping support the torso as we make our way out of this pose. Tuck those back toes underneath. Press into those toes as you lift the hips up. And maneuver your legs back, bringing them underneath you, coming back into your neutral tabletop. One full round of a cow and a cat at your own pace, just matching the movement with your breath. And making our way to the opposite side, coming back into your neutral spine. Step the hands away from you, just another full hand's length distance apart. Pull your belly muscles in as you draw the left knee in towards the chest this time. Shift the weight into your hands nice and gently as you lower that left knee back behind that left wrist. Swing that left foot towards the right wrist as close as you can before extending that right leg back behind you, making your way into your pigeon pose on this side. I did forget to mention, If it's too intense, you need something to bridge the gap, shove a pillow or a blanket underneath that hip, whether it's the left or the right hip, just to help you be able to release the hips a little bit more comfortably. Same thing goes. You can stay here up on the palms of your hands, hunkering down into the pose, or begin to lower down to your capacity, maybe onto the forearms, maybe onto your pillow, maybe onto your chest, whatever feels right for you and your practice. Once you've landed in the pose, find your breath. Use it for the tool that it is. Every inhale, see it, visualize it going to those tender places. Exhaling deeply, slowly, softening those places. Feel safe to relax the eyes. Maybe wiggle the jaw left and right a couple of times, just loosening up the tension in the jawline before resealing your lips. Coming back to your breath. Reminding yourself of your intention, I belong. Notice where your thoughts are at. No judgments. Staying connected to the flow of your breath. Begin to lift up on your next inhale, coming back up onto the palms of your hands, walking the hands in close to the body, giving yourself some nice, good support as we safely make our way out of the pose. Tuck those back toes underneath. Press into those toes as you lift the hips up and sliding the legs out from underneath you, using a little bit of your core muscles to get yourself out of the pose. Once you've landed in that neutral tabletop, take a full round of a cow and take a full round of a cat, matching the movement with your breath. As you come into your neutral tabletop, making our way into puppy pose. We've got the hips open. We're going to make our way into a little mini back bend, keeping the hips, knees, and feet just as they are. Begin to walk the hands out and away from the body, lowering the chest down to the mat until you've landed on your forehead. If your shoulders are a little bit tight, you can open up the hands to a more open or wide V. You can also bring your pillow or bolster underneath the chest, landing the forehead on the bolster if you need to bridge the gap. If you're feeling comfortable here, just relaxing through the chest, letting the chest become heavy as the tail becomes light. Toes can stay tucked or you can untuck them, whatever feels good in the body. Relax through the belly muscles, really letting gravity take over here. As you're in the slight inversion, you've got the heart above the head, taking a moment to send some gratitude and love down into the earth, holding you up just as you are and supporting you wherever life takes you. Keep the breath deep, visualizing the breath coming in through the nose over the top of the head, all the way up to the tailbone. Nice slow exhale. See the breath come from the tailbone, back down the spine, slowly out the nose. Your next inhale, begin to gently lift the chest. Walk the hands in close to the body, bringing them back underneath the shoulders. Taking a few rounds of cows and cats here, or any intuitive movement the body is calling for. Got about 4 total rounds of breath. You can barrel roll the torso if you'd like. Reach for opposite corners of your mat. Just moving intuitively here. Finishing up the next couple rounds of breath. Finishing up that last full round or any movement that you're taking, meeting back in a neutral tabletop here. Good. When you feel ready, begin to lower down on either the left hip or the right hip, making your way back into a seated position, bringing the legs out in front of you, and then scooting up towards the top of your mat. We're making our way down onto our backs. Make sure that you have your pillows and blankets, any props next to you just in case if you need them. Grab the backs of your legs. Begin to roll back one vertebrae at a time until you're completely on your back. You feel the back of your head on your mat. Pull those knees right in towards your chest. Give a little squeeze, placing the hands on the shins or right underneath the kneecaps. Take a few rocks left and right, massaging out that lower back or that sacrum. Just getting more grounding in the backside. Good. Making your way into stillness. Gently guide the knees in towards the armpits. As you bend the knees, placing your feet flat up onto the ceiling, coming into your stirrup pose or your happy baby. Hands can be placed along the backside of the legs. You can reach for the calves, the ankles. If you'd like to activate the pose and come into the full expression, peace fingers around big toes or grabbing on the outer edges of your feet. Wherever your hands have landed, gently guide the knees down towards the earth. Relaxing through the shoulders, opening up through the groin, releasing through the hip region. We'll be here for just a few breaths. The option is yours. You can stay here in stillness, or you can take some movement. A few options is to rock side to side. You can straighten through one leg, switching out, bending through the other, straightening the opposite leg. You can take some movements with the ankles and the toes. Whatever option feels good for you today. You've got about a couple more full rounds of breath left. Finishing up any movement that you've taken. Nice deep inhale coming into stillness. And as you exhale, bring those knees in towards the chest, back in towards the body. Coming in for your supine twist. Bump your hips over to the right hand side by just in half an inch. Keep the shoulder blades connected to your mat as you let the knees drift off towards the left hand side. You can bring any prop in between the knees, underneath the knees. A few more options. You can use that left hand on top of the right leg as an anchor. You can tee your right arm out to the side. If it's safe in the neck, take your gaze over towards those right fingertips, just adding that extra layer of twist in. Soften through the hips, soften through the body, relaxing the shoulders, keeping the breaths nice and deep, slow and controlled, really letting the torso and organs ring out here. Softening the muscles of your face. Letting gravity pull the skin closer to the ground. You've got a few more rounds of breath left here. Deepest inhale so far. Deepest exhale, emptying out all the way. Moving your props out of the way. Taking your gaze back through center, pulling your belly muscles as you bring your knees back through center. Rocking left and right a couple times, just getting the back ready for the opposite side. Coming into stillness, making sure you've got a nice long, straight spine before we make our way into the opposite side. Coming into stillness, bump those hips over to the left by 1/2 of an inch before you let the knees drift off towards the right-hand side. Same thing goes. You can use that right hand as an anchor for that left leg. You can tee that left arm out to the side, and if it's safe in your gaze, safe in your neck, take your gaze over towards those left fingertips. Find your breath here. That left shoulder blade is lifting up. You can scoot the shoulders closer in the direction of your bent knees. Just getting some more grounding in that upper back. Soften, melt into the twist. Keep those breaths just as deep on this side as the other side. Soften through the shoulders. Relax the muscles of your face. Full rounds of breath left, just wringing out the torso here. Deep inhale. Nice full exhale as you bring your gaze back through center. At the end of your exhale, pull in those belly muscles, draw the knees back in towards center. Take those rocks side to side, making sure that the back is realigned nice and straight. Feeling that pressure on one side of the body and then the other. Just making sure that you feel even on both sides. Come into stillness. Making our way into Shavasana, our resting pose here. Pull the knees in tight towards the body, squeezing. Draw your head up in between your knees, pulling and tightening everything you can. Curl those toes underneath. Take a deep inhale, pressing the belly against the tops of the thighs. As you exhale, relax your head down to your mat. Release the legs out long, arms along the side of your body. This pose is one of the most important poses. It gives time to integrate all the movement that we've done. Your hands can be in any variation, palms faced up or down, whatever resonates with you. Adding some more comfort, tuck your chin in slightly without cutting off your airway, just to create more space in the back of the neck. If you'd like more options before I leave you in silence, you can always bring your blanket or pillow underneath the knees. You can place your blanket on the top of your body. Some of you know how to take or what you like in your variations of Shavasana. Some, this will be new for you. So I'm just giving you a plethora of options. See whichever one feels right for you. I'm going to leave you in silence for the next few moments. Continue to follow your breath, keeping the thoughts at bay. I'll guide you when it's time to come out. Relaxing the muscles of your face, softening the shoulders. without making any physical movement quite yet, just coming back to your breath. Feeling your chest and belly rise with every inhale. Feeling the torso hollow and empty with every exhale. Taking a moment to notice your state of mind, your state of being. Feeling that sense of belonging. Gently wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Making some small movements in the ankles and the wrists, getting the blood, the life, and the energy moving back through the body. Reach the arms up overhead, reaching back behind you as you press your feet forward. Take a deep inhale for a good morning stretch. As you exhale, pulling in one leg in at a time, coming into a little ball, giving yourself a well-deserved hug once you get there. No rush, drifting off to your favorite side, either the left or the right, coming into fetal position for a moment or two, using your bottom arm as a pillow for your head. Noticing yourself in this position. You have one side of your body grounding, connecting, rooting into the earth below, as the opposite side is free and exposed to the air above. Feeling that sense of being held in this position, the first position we ever took in this life. Whenever you feel ready, use your top hand to press and lift you back up into a seated position. Easy pose, Sukhasana. Bring the palms of your hands together, connecting them right in front of your heart space, honoring yourself in this position for your practice, connecting with yourself, moving your body, moving your breath. Take a moment to list one thing about yourself that you're grateful for. Don't let your inner critic take that away from you. Take a moment to send yourself a loving message. Take another moment to send somebody, anybody in the entire universe, a loving message. Thank you so much for joining me today. From my heart to yours. Namaste.